I still remember that morning, the kind where sunlight filters through lace curtains and dust particles dance like tiny secrets. I was polishing the grand mirror in the hallway of the Whitmore mansion when I first saw it, the photo that changed everything. The Whitmores weren't just wealthy. They were the kind of people you read about in magazines. Marble floors, chandeliers, a pool big enough to drown your thoughts in. I'd been working there for nearly 6 months, keeping my head down, never asking questions. That's what good maids do. They clean, they smile, and they stay invisible. But that morning, I couldn't. The photo sat on a side table near the stairs, a simple silver frame almost hidden behind a vase of lilies. At first glance, it looked like any family portrait. Mr. Whitmore, his elegant wife, and a little boy with golden hair and eyes that seemed too deep for his age. But as I leaned closer, the duster slipping from my hand, my breath caught in my throat. That child. Those eyes, I knew them. I stumbled back, clutching the corner of the table. It couldn't be. It couldn't. But the shape of his face, that tiny scar above his right eyebrow, I'd kissed that scar every night for 2 years. My knees went weak. The world tilted. It was my son. The name came rushing back, burning like salt in a wound. Eli. 2 years ago, he was taken from me. A custody battle gone wrong, a lie that painted me as unfit, a system that favored power over truth. I had nothing then, no money, no lawyer, just a desperate mother trying to fight for her child. My ex-husband Jason had taken Eli and vanished. No visits, no photos, no trace, and now, here he was, smiling in a stranger's living room. The sound of footsteps snapped me back to reality. Mrs. Whitmore, tall, graceful, wrapped in silk. Her heels clicked against the marble as she descended the stairs. "Good morning, Anna," she said softly. Her tone was kind, too kind. "You're early today?" "Yes, ma'am," I stammered, quickly turning away from the photo. Just finishing the hallway." She gave me a polite smile, then picked up the same silver frame. "Ah," she murmured. "This one always makes me emotional. Taken last spring. My husband and I. We waited so long for him." "Waited?" My heart twisted. She glanced at me. "Do you have children, Anna?" I froze. My mouth went dry. "I did," I whispered. "Once." Mrs. Whitmore's face softened, but she didn't pry. "You're wonderful with Ethan," she said warmly. "He's been asking if you can take him to the garden again." "He likes you." "Ethan." She called him Ethan. I nodded numbly, my mind spinning. Eli, Ethan, my son, was upstairs living in a house that wasn't mine, calling another woman Mom. That afternoon, I found myself folding laundry in the quiet guest room. But my hands were trembling too hard to work. I could hear him laughing outside in the garden, that same high-pitched giggle I'd once heard echo through cheap apartment walls. My chest ached. I went to the window. There he was. Same golden hair, same curious eyes. He was building something with toy blocks while Mrs. Whitmore watched from the patio, sipping tea. She looked genuinely loving, the kind of mother I used to dream of being. A war broke out inside me. Part of me wanted to scream, to run outside and hold him, to tell him who I was. But another part whispered, don't ruin this. He looks happy, and he did. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in the maid's quarters, staring at the ceiling, clutching the small locket around my neck, the one with his baby picture inside. I'd worn it every day since he was taken. My fingers brushed over his face in the tiny photograph, and I whispered, "Eli, my baby." The next morning, fate played another cruel trick. I was dusting the library when I heard a small voice behind me. "Anna?" I turned, and there he was, standing in the doorway, clutching a stuffed dinosaur. "Oh," I breathed, forcing a smile. "Good morning, Ethan." He tilted his head, studying me. "You look sad," he said simply. The innocence in his tone broke me. "No, sweetheart," I said, my voice barely steady. "Just tired." He stepped closer, his little hand reaching for mine. "My real mom used to say that when she missed me." My heart stopped. "Your real mom?" I managed. He nodded seriously. "Daddy said she couldn't take care of me. But sometimes I dream about her face. She had the same eyes as you." The room blurred. I swallowed hard, forcing the tears back. "Dreams are funny like that," I whispered. He smiled softly, then hugged me, quick and unprompted. And in that brief second I felt it. The same warmth, the same heartbeat, the same soul I'd once carried inside me. Then, just as quickly, he ran off. I sank to my knees. The photo, the name, the dreams. There was no mistake. He was my son. That night, I sat on the edge of my narrow bed and made a decision. I needed answers. How did the Whitmores end up with my boy? Did Jason sell custody? Did he give him away? And why had Mrs. Whitmore said they waited so long? The next day, while dusting Mr. Whitmore's study, I noticed a locked drawer in his desk. The key sat right beside it. My conscience screamed to stop. but a mother's heart doesn't obey rules. I unlocked it. Inside were papers, adoption forms, legal, clean. But there it was, my name, my signature, except it wasn't mine. My chest tightened. My vision blurred. Someone had forged it. Someone had stolen my son. I stood there shaking, the papers clutched in my hand, when I heard footsteps behind me. Anna? It was Mrs. Whitmore. Her voice was sharp, her expression unreadable. What are you doing in my husband's study? I froze, the papers trembling between my fingers. I dropped my cleaning rag. I lied. Her gaze flicked to the open drawer, then to the documents in my hand. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she said quietly, You saw it, didn't you? My throat tightened. The papers in my hand felt like burning coal. Please, I whispered, just tell me the truth. Mrs. Whitmore closed the study door behind her. The click echoed like a verdict. She didn't yell, didn't threaten. She just stood there, one hand trembling on the handle. Her eyes clouded with something I couldn't read. Fear? Guilt? Maybe both. You weren't supposed to see that, she said quietly. Then why hide it? My voice cracked. Why forge my name? That little boy, Ethan, she cut in sharply. His name is Ethan. I took a step forward. His name is Eli, my son, my baby. Her shoulders sagged as if the weight of the words broke her. You don't understand, then make me understand. I snapped, the tears finally spilling. I thought he was dead. I searched for him, prayed for him, begged for a chance to hold him again. And now I find him here, living in your house like he was never mine. Her eyes glistened. For the first time she looked human, vulnerable. She sank into the leather chair behind the desk and pressed her palms together. We didn't steal him, she whispered. We adopted him legally. Legally? I shook my head, holding up the forged document. With this signature? That's not legal. That's a crime. Her lips quivered. You're right. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. My husband handled the paperwork. I didn't know until months later that the adoption wasn't, she exhaled shakily, clean. The room spun. You're saying he knew? She nodded. He wanted a child so badly. We'd lost 2 pregnancies. He said he found a private agency that could help us. I didn't question it. I pressed a hand to my chest. The walls felt like they were closing in. So you took my son? I whispered. And when you found out the truth? Tears streamed down her cheeks now. I couldn't give him up. He's my whole world, Anna. Please, he doesn't even remember you. That last sentence tore through me like glass. I stumbled back, shaking my head. No, he does. He said he dreams of me. He feels me. You can't erase that. She looked away. I know. He asked me last week why he sometimes dreams of a woman crying. Silence. Heavy, unbearable silence. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to scream, to tear those forged papers apart. But when she finally lifted her face, I saw the same kind of pain I carried. The ache of a mother terrified to lose her child. I sank into the chair across from her, my voice breaking. I don't want to hurt him. I need to know he's safe, that he's loved. He is, she said softly. I swear, Anna, we love him more than life itself. I looked down at the adoption papers again. The proof of everything stolen, yet somehow also saved. You can't expect me to walk away, I said. She nodded. And I don't want you to. My head jerked up. What? She swallowed hard. He deserves to know where he came from. But it has to be gentle, not a shock. Please, help me tell him the truth. The words hit me harder than any threat could have. For a long time I couldn't speak. I just sat there, staring at her. This woman who had both taken and loved my son. That evening, I baked cookies for the first time in years. Mrs. Whitmore asked me to join them in the garden. As a friend, she said. My heart pounded as I carried the tray outside. Eli, Ethan, was sitting on the grass, building a fort out of sticks. He looked up when he saw me. Anna, you made cookies? Yes, I said, smiling as I knelt beside him. Your favorite. Chocolate chip. He blinked. How did you know that? I froze for a second, then smiled softly. Just a guess. He giggled and took one, chocolate melting on his small fingers. They taste like something I remember. Mrs. Whitmore watched us quietly, her eyes shimmering in the golden light. After a long pause, she said, Ethan, sweetie, can we talk to you about something important? He looked up, curious. Okay. She took a deep breath, then glanced at me for courage. You know how families come together in different ways? He nodded. Like adoption? Yes, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Well, there's something about your story we haven't told you yet. His little brow furrowed. My story? I reached out, my hands shaking. Sweetheart, I said softly, when you were very little. I was your first mommy. The words hung in the air. He blinked, confused. You mean like, before Mommy found me? Mrs. Whitmore's tears fell silently.
Yes, darling.
Before we found each other, Eli looked at me, then at her. So I have two moms? My heart cracked open. I nodded. Yes. Two who love you very, very much. For a moment he just stared, trying to fit the pieces together in his small mind. Then, without a word, he crawled into my lap and hugged me tight. I always dreamed about you, he whispered, and I broke. I cried right there, holding him close, feeling his tiny heartbeat against mine. Mrs. Whitmore knelt beside us, her hand on his shoulder, her voice shaking. We can make this work, she said. Together. Months passed. The lawyers came. The truth came out. Jason was arrested for fraud and forgery, and I was finally recognized as Eli's biological mother. But when the judge asked if I wanted full custody, I looked at Mrs. Whitmore sitting across the courtroom, her eyes red, her hands trembling, and I shook my head. He belongs to both of us, I said. He deserves love, not loss. The judge nodded. Joint custody it is. And just like that, something impossible became real. Now every other weekend, Eli spends time with me in my small apartment. We bake cookies, feed stray cats, and watch cartoons until we fall asleep on the couch. And when he goes back to the mansion, he hugs me tight and whispers, I'll dream of you. Sometimes I see Mrs. Whitmore in the park, sitting on a bench watching us from afar. We don't say much, but when our eyes meet, there's a silent understanding. Two mothers, one love, one child. Life took everything from me once. But that day, when I saw that photo on the stairs, it gave me something back too. Not just my son, but peace. And in that peace, I finally learned, motherhood isn't about who gives birth. It's about who stays, who loves, and who chooses a child every single day.